Good evening to you all. Well, you are actually going to have this in the morning. So, this is Thursday's lecture for 7th and 8th grade. You guys are going to listen to me and make sure that you understand what you've read. I'm going to go over some of the assignments that you've had to this point, and hopefully that'll help you out quite a bit. So, you're going into your classroom. Make sure that you are looking at your stream. Your stream has all of your assignments there and everything that I've shared, including materials that you need to complete various assignments. You can also go to classwork. A lot of you are not doing this, so you've got to get on this. So the first assignment, beyond the Tuesday with Maury reflection, was the pre-reading questions for Animal Farm. So there are a couple of pre-reading questions for Animal Farm, so I understand that might be confusing, but you still have to do all of those because they are for a grade. So the first one was due on Tuesday, and this is an important question, and kind of like an essential question, which we do before we read every book. So we've already covered these in the video that I posted about this, so a lot of you used the information that I gave you. That's fantastic. How do beliefs, ethics, and values influence success? You know, some of us have values of hard work, and some of us don't. Some of us are full of ethics, and others will do what they can to take advantage of others and get everything that they want. So, you know, your beliefs in God and your beliefs in how you treat others and your beliefs in, you know, what you hold dear, can that influence success? Absolutely. Your answer should have had something that they absolutely influence success. How do they? Because you have a standard of behavior to treat others and yourself with love, kindness, working hard. You know, working hard is for you. It's not for me. It's not for your family. You should want that success more than anybody else. Should your compensation from working with a group or society reflect your contribution? You know, we're going to talk about communism and socialism here in a minute. And so if everybody gets the same, does everybody work hard? Are there going to be people who work harder when they don't get anything more than other people? So, you know, if you're somebody who works your tail off to get everything done, you know, you get that A, that's great. And then if you're just flying by the seat of your pants and you still get an A, the person who works their tails off probably get upset about that. And we talked about that with the no red ink assignments, you know. They're late, but I'm still giving full credit. The people who get those done on time should get a bonus points, right? So that was number 2. How does involvement in a group or community change your perspective? Can the actions of a leader or individual members change these perspectives? Absolutely, leaderships can change the way you view others. You know, whether it's, you know, being mad at Asian people because of a virus, being angry with blacks because you lived in the South during segregation. For what reason? Because someone told you to. Because you're a white, that was expected of you, and, you know, be counterculture and think differently. But that's a difficult thing to do. So you're a part of a community, and you want to fit into the community, and conformity is dangerous sometimes, because if you're not the voice speaking out against hatred, then you're okay with that hatred. And so there's a lot of ways that you could have answered that, but to what extent does power or lack of power affect individuals? If you feel helpless or hopeless because you don't have any power whatsoever, maybe you shut down. When you feel overwhelmed, you might shut down instead of digging yourself out. So, you know, not having power or having power can change the way you behave. So, you know, your job was to think those through, get responses in, just so you guys can see that 7 of you are still not done. So please do your work. The next item, which is due your journal response, this was already due as well. So, why do you think revolutions occur? And then what circumstances would lead people to overthrow the daily political and economic structure of their lives. So, revolutions occur because people demand change. Think of the American Revolution, and by God, you have learned about that. Don't be lazy and say you don't know what you're talking about, because I know that you do. You know why the American Revolution happened. Why did the women's movement happen to get voting rights and equal pay that women are still fighting for? Why do these things happen? People demand changes because they value their lives and value equality and value power to an extent, like going back to that last question. But certainly being oppressed is no way to live your life. And then the second part, what circumstances would lead people to overthrow the daily political and economical structure of their lives? Why would someone choose to fight back? It's easy to go back to segregation because so many of you know a lot about that. And you can even say, why would the Jews not have done more to overthrow what the Germans were doing, and what part of that group did try to fight back? So those are things that you should have thought about as you prepared your response and sent those in. 10 of you still have to get that one done. Again, that was due yesterday. This assignment is due tomorrow, and there are 16 of you who need to get that done still, and that's okay because it's not due till tomorrow. So let's see what we're looking at here, and this can kind of guide that, and this shouldn't replace your reading because these questions don't do enough to answer what you've actually read. So after reading chapter 1, you should be able to answer these things. So what is significant about how the animals arrange themselves as they gather to hear Major, and what might this arrangement say about future meetings or events? So the pigs and dogs sit in the front. They're the most intelligent. Pigs are intelligent creatures and delicious. Bacon is so good. But dogs also are intelligent creatures. So intelligence and being wise is what gives them power, or at least that's where old Major is. And according to Major, he's got some important things coming up as far as the value of all of these animals' lives. Which one's more important? Who's more valuable? Is it the young people? Is it the older people? Is it the horses, the pigs, the donkey? An important topic right now. So as far as how you can think about that, the animals arrange themselves behind the pigs and dogs. In the future, the pigs will probably be in charge because they've already taken that role with old Major standing before the group. What does a dog do? Think about when the mailman's coming up to your house if you own a dog, or another dog walks by in the front yard. Oh man, that barking, they're protective. So that'll be something you'll see there. According to Major, what is the cause of all the animals' problems? Man. And it's similar to the fall of man. The only reason that we are not capable of perfection is because we are sinful. But man, in this case, is what holds the animals back. And so man is the only real enemy. Man is the only animal who produces nothing. All of the things come from the earth and the animals on this farm. And the animals help cultivate that and harvest those things. What do the humans even do here? So the man is the problem. Animals produce, and the man produces nothing. Get rid of man, and then what happens? Animals are in charge, and all their problems are solved. So what motto does Major give the animals? Anything that's on two legs is an enemy. So man, I just had a brain fart because I'm not feeling great. Homo sapiens stand upright on two legs. All animals, most animals, are on four legs. So whatever goes on 2 legs is an enemy. Whatever goes on 4 legs or has wings is a friend. He urges them to refrain from becoming like man, because man is the enemy. So can a pig be like a man? Think about the picture of the dog sitting around the table playing poker, the painting that people have. What if that were the case? Would we say that dogs are more important because of that? So I don't have a whole lot of time, so this is only a 15-minute recording, so I want to make sure that you guys see this next part. So this is important. Let me get this background here. Boom. Come on, open up. Open sesame. Well, we'll just do it here. So, George Orwell wrote a lot of interesting stories that are about his beliefs of government and government failure. When this book came out, and you're going to be weirded out by this as you continue reading it, Animal Farm was put on kids' literature shelves when it came out because it was a story about animals. Well, if you remember that as we continue reading through this, the animals represent other things, and it's kind of dangerous to have that topic covered in that way for young people to read, because this is absolutely a cry against government, specifically the rise of the Russian Revolution and the Bolsheviks and communism as a whole. So George Orwell wrote this tale. It's satire. Those are one of the terms you should know already from one of the other videos that I shared with you guys. So animals are being mistreated. Those animals represent the people of Russia. How that happened was that everyday working class individuals were murdered. Think about what happened in the Holocaust, which we've already studied this year, and then add 20 million people. And that's what was responsible, the numbers that were responsible for these various leaders over several decades in Russia. As how do you maintain power? Killing the people trying to take it from you. Killing those who are anti whatever your beliefs are. So this is still relevant, because while we don't focus a lot on the Russian Revolution in middle school, understanding how governments work and how people have rights to, in America, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What if that's taken away? How do you fight back for that? And a revolution is what would need to happen. So this is not a children's book. It is a fable in that we have characters represented by human types as animals in this story, and then you can see that it's not a children's book. Only about a minute and a half on this time, unfortunately. So it is an allegory, which means that this book has double meaning. So we'll get into that as you continue reading through that. But I want to make sure that you know more about the people. So Tsar Nicholas was the leader of Russia after World War I. He had that taken away from him. His whole family was killed by Vladimir Lenin, who is entombed in St. Petersburg, Moscow, someplace in Russia. Now you can still visit him and totally preserved, like Pastor was talking about with preserving bodies in class last time we met. So Vladimir Lenin took over, killed lots of people. When he passed away, Stalin takes control. How does he get control? By killing everyone. And so Leon Trotsky is kind of the mastermind behind communism. And all of these people are represented in our story. So we'll get into that here. Napoleon, which we'll meet him more next chapter, represents Joseph Stalin. Tsar Nicholas is represented by Farmer Jones, who we saw as the drunk owner of the manor. Snowball is Leon Trotsky, a very intelligent pig.